What's up, guys? So we're going to be building this React Accordion component, and it's quite easy. So let's just demonstrate. So once you open it, you have this little transaction that tells us what React is, and once we open the next one, you can see that the first one closes, and you can also still close this one again if you choose to. So that's just basically it. It's quite simple. Let's just dive right into the code. Alright, so on VS Code, let's create a new directory for it. So let's call this accordion. Let's just call it accordion. Let's just call it accordion. I'm bad with naming things. So I'll cd into accordion. So just quickly put that. Give that a second. So open this one and close this. So basically we'll be using Vite. So Vite is a build tool for creating React applications, and it's really fast. So let's just give this a second for this to all update. My PC is kind of slow today. Alright guys, so we'll be installing Vite by saying npm create Vite at latest. Then we are creating it in this folder, so we'll leave it at period. So click enter. Give that a minute. So we'll be using React, we'll be using JavaScript for this. So we install the dependencies. Alright guys, so we'll finish installing the dependencies. So before we run our development server, let's just push this to the side so we can get a good view of it. Push this to the side. Alright, so let's quickly run our development server saying npm run dev. So this should open on a new port, and I believe it's port 5173 or something like that. Okay, yeah, so port 1573. So bring this here. Actually, don't need this. Alright, so this is like the boilerplate of when you install Vite, which we're going to get rid of. Let's do that quickly. We don't need this app.css. So inside the main GS, okay. We do need this for styling. Next, I think, okay, yeah, so let's get rid of everything here. Get rid of this and get rid of this. So we save. Now, okay. Alright, so now the first thing, this is what I'll be using as reference for what we'll be doing. So first things first, we need to get the data. So all this, and I kind of make it easier by, I already have some data, so let's just create a variable for that and just say FAQ, or just say data.js. and I think I stored it here. So copy this, paste here just to save some time. Well, it's basically create an array of objects that has key value, so question answer. Close this. We already have that. So now let's just use this to an arrow function. Alright, let's just display something first. Hello world. Okay, that's showing. So now we need to display all this information. So we're going to do that by first of all importing the data we just created. So we say data from the JS. Okay. Did you call it? Sorry, give me a second. Okay, it's called FAQ data, not data. So here should be FAQ data. So essentially, if you are building a full React application, you eventually have a component called Accordion or FAQ to store that and apply that component to your app component. So instead of you, in this tutorial, I'm going to be writing all the codes here, but ideally when you are building a real world project, you actually separate it. So let's just create a class called Accordion, and basically let's just map over this data. So FAQ map, so call this item, and let's just get the index. So call this FAQ, and let's just pass in the title and name for now. So we'll say title should be an h1, and that should be item dot okay, item dot question, yeah. And let's bring in the answers. By the way, these styles we'll be using, we want to style it later. Let's call this item dot answer. So when we save, we should get this, but I think there should be an error. Yeah, it's warning us that each child in the list should have a unique key. So we just have to pass this key right here and say key should be index. So by the time we save this and refresh this, that error should be gone. Yeah, the error is gone. Okay, what do we do next? Let's just bring in these icons right here. So we'll head back to, okay, so I think go to cdnjs.com/font grab this first link, go back, go to your index.html, just paste it here, save it, and while we're there we should just change this to accordion. By the way, you can use the React icons if you want. I'm just using simpler process or something that will make this all easier for us. So we need it by the side. So basically come here and say I class name. So this should be FA solid FA plus. Hopefully I'm right. Okay, so I'm right. So we have this. Now before we start styling the code, I normally like to write out the functionality because styling is kind of easy. So let's just do the functionality part. So what we need to do is that by the time we click on this this FAQ, which is this whole stuff, and you can still make it specific to if you click this particular title or this plus icon, well, it will just be targeting everything. So when we click on this should show, and for this to show, it should be hidden by default. So I said we're not going to write any CSS, but we are just going to write some few lines of CSS just to test it out. So let's just hide this content. I think I called it content. Yeah. So say content. Say the max height should be 0. Okay, so max height is 0, but it's kind of overlapping. So we need to set overflow to hidden because it's kind of overflowing if you say it here. So we'll say that to hidden, that's gone. Then we need to show it when we click on this plus icon. By showing it, we just need to get that content and add show to it. Basically, let's just say the max height to be 999 pixels. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit weird. I'm having sore throat. Alright, so if we had show to this, we should get the content back. Yeah, so let's get it off. So now let's write a function, and that function should typically show the content where we click on this whole FAQ, which is this class here. So when we click on this whole stuff, we should see the content. So how do we do that? We do that by using new state. So we'll quickly import use state and basically say if this is clicked, set is clicked, and let's set the initial value to be false. So we're going to call this function toggle FAQ. And we're going to be toggling it based on the index. So this is with 0, 1, 2, which is 3 by with length, but if you're using array 0, 1, 2, so since we're going to be toggling with the index, let's just pass in the index here. And first of all, we're going to say if is clicked is equals to that index, then return and set this is clicked to false. So I'll explain what this means in a second. Else set is clicked to whatever that index means. Alright, so let's save that. So what do I mean? If is clicked is equals to index, set is clicked to false. So basically, if this is already opened, which means we are already in that index, when we click on it, it should close it. Else, open each other array. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I will demonstrate that in a bit. So we're cool with that. So let's just test that out. So we said on click, so open this and say toggle FQ, then passing that index. So by the time we save, nothing should happen yet. Well, let's just quickly open the terminal. I said terminal. Let's open our dev tools. So let's just say for add return statement, say console.log. Let's just say it's clicked. So this is what I mean. When we click on this by default, it's already opened. So let me demonstrate that again. Let's just skip past this and say it should be the index. Alright, so and let's quickly refresh this. Alright, so by the time I click on this, it means this should be open, which is this function here. So when I click on this should be open, but this should be closed. But if I click on this one again, it's clicked is one, which means this is already closed. It's supposed to be closed. But you get the gist of it. That's just basically it. So get rid of this, get rid of this, close the dev tools, save, and basically, like I said, saying if is clicked is equals to the index, just did the same thing we did here. Sorry, here should be a question mark. Else, do something. So if it's clicked is equals to index, here should be the minus. Else here should be the plus. So by the time we save this, and we'll click on this, it should be minus, and we'll click it back, should be plus. So click on this minus. When I click on this should be minus and this should be plus. So lastly, should do the same with the contents, and I could do that by saying get rid of this and use backticks, bring back the content class, because we're going to be using these variables here by saying if is clicked is equals to index, add the show class, else add nothing. So we're already on this. Or click on this back, should close, click on this open, click on this close. So guys, that's basically just the whole stuff. So let's just quickly style it. Alright guys, so basically I have my Poppins font already, so you can go to Google Fonts to get that if you want to follow along. I'll also leave a link to the Github repo of the entire project. So copy this, go back, and this CSS is not quite much. I think it's just 48 lines or 50 lines of code. So save this. I should just give this a default style, set the margin to 0, padding to 0, regular jazz, box size into border box. Cool. So for the body, we just need the font family should be Poppins or sans serif. Then we need to place it center by saying display grid, place items center. So that won't do nothing, but when I set the height to 100 VH, should stretch all the way, and that should put it in the center. So this accordion, we just basically need to add padding on the left and left and right rather. So can do that by saying padding inline, which is a logical property, one rem. Padding inline means left and right, so this should go left and right. I think up and down should, it's called padding block, yeah. And let's basically just set this h1 to be font size of 1.2 rem, or let's say 1.5 rem. Okay, that worked. So we need these plus icons to come right here, just like this. Don't have this anymore. Okay, it's here. So this plus icon should come right here. So basically we store that on the title. And say title should be display flex. Should align it to the center, and it should be space between, so justify content space between. All right, so next we need to add this background to the overall FAQ. So this is what I mean, this FAQ now, this entire stuff, I'm going to add the background. I think it's E666. Hopefully, okay, yeah. So also need to add the padding. Let's say top and bottom should be 1.5 rem, left and right should be 1 rem. Okay, then we add the margin bottom of 1 rem, and let's also add border radius of 0.4 rem, just to add a little border to it. All right, so basically that's it, but by the time we open it, you see these weird jumps, so we need to add the transition for it to it. So under this content, we'll say the transition should be all points, let's just say 0.4 seconds cubic Bezier. I think it's 0 1 0 1. That should work. Okay, so let's try 1 0. I really don't know about this stuff. Let's see which one works better. Okay, so it's 1 0. Let's drop this to 3 seconds. But we're still having this weird glitch when we close, so we also need to do the same and just invert this. So when we click on this, I'm getting this whole thing wrong. Sorry guys, let's change this back to 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 0. Okay, so guys, we're cool. So it's 0 1 0 1 and the opposite should be here. So nice. So you can also add a little padding to this content if you wish to. When it's open, say padding top should be 2 rem or 5 rem. Let's make it more obvious. Okay, it's kind of obvious. So I'll open this now, get this, open this, get this. Let's see it on a wider screen. Okay, so it's stretching along. We need to center it, and we can do that by saying, what am I doing? can do that by saying by setting the max width here. The max width should be, let's just say 700 pixels. So automatically it centers it. Cool. Alright guys, that's how to do just that. If you have any question, leave it in the comments, and do like and subscribe if you find the video helpful.